还没发力就结束，未免无趣。就是他们了，去了。
对方数量有12名。
他
是罗峰。
诺兰，你的死期到了。
Hello everyone! Welcome to the Al Rasta channel. Here, I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 182. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% similar to the Donghua version. Okay, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. After parting ways with Tai Wo and the other team members, Luo Feng was in the control room of the Yunmo ship, smoothly sailing through the dark universe. After half a year of fierce battles in the shattered star system, he had slaughtered thousands of world masters and 5 immortal beings from the enemy race. Meanwhile, during Luo Feng's journey, he was equipped with advanced scanning devices capable of monitoring a radius of 1 billion kilometers without being detected by enemies. With this, Luo Feng could relax without worrying about sudden attacks from enemies. Then, the screen on his arm displayed the surrounding data, which appeared calm. Suddenly, Babata informed him that there was a message from the military system via the virtual universe network. Luo Feng immediately connected, and the message appeared on his arm screen. The system acknowledged that he had completed his point quota and was now free from the team. 2 options were offered: continue fighting or retire from the extraterritorial battlefield. Without hesitation, Luo Feng chose to continue the battle. The system then explained his right to exchange contribution points for assets or money, with a ratio of 100,000 points equaling 1 hunyuan, plus bonus points as a member of the Virtual Universe Company. 2 more options followed: fight solo or lead a large army consisting of 100 world masters, 1,000 domain masters, and 10,000 universe-level soldiers. Leading an army promised an additional 50% points, but Luo Feng laughed softly. He had too many secrets, such as the golden-horned behemoth, which he couldn't use if surrounded by troops. "I choose solo," he said firmly. The system recorded his choice and sent the latest 7th battlefield map, complete with details of the complex fog-filled area and battle points. Sitting back down with his tea, Luo Feng studied the 3D map that appeared before him. The shattered star system was too low level for him, filled with ordinary world master teams and a few immortal creatures that were difficult to hunt. His eyes fell on Yanji continent, one of the highest level battle areas in the 26th camp of the 7th battlefield. The map detailed its features: an irregularly shaped continent with a diameter of 1.8 light years, surrounded by thousands of floating fragments ranging in size from millions to trillions of kilometers. There, each team was led by an immortal warrior, with the majority at the lord level, a third at the king level, and a small number at the king level. The danger was high. Without an immortal companion, the chances of survival were slim. Luo Feng nodded, aware of his strength as a human with armor equivalent to an immortal lord-level warrior, but he wasn't ready for a Class 1 area teaming with immortal kings. "This is the perfect place to start. Once I become the strongest here, I'll move on to more dangerous places," he muttered. "Babata, let's go." The Yunmo ship sped off, avoiding enemies thanks to its advanced scanners, traveling through the universe at 50 times the speed of light and arriving after 6 days of constant vigilance. Finally, the control room door opened, and Luo Feng stood staring at the scene before him. The majestic Yanji continent stretched out before him, surrounded by giant fragments floating like islands in space. Upon arriving there, Luo Feng suddenly recalled the past. His thoughts drifted to his old team: Tai Wo, Du Yao, Wei, Mei Nu, and the others who might still be fighting in the shattered star system. "I hope you're all safe and returned safely," he murmured. From this day forward, Luo Feng began a new chapter in the extraterritorial battlefield, facing stronger enemy warriors on the Yanji continent. The Yunmo ship glided in, carrying him into a 1,000-year battle filled with mystery and danger. No one knew how it would end, but the true adventure had just begun. In the vast expanse of the majestic Yanji continent, Luo Feng's Yunmo ship was speeding across one of the gigantic fragments known as Number 9. This fragment was so vast that Luo Feng couldn't see its edge from the control room, leaving him in awe of how vast this region was. Its maximum diameter reached 900 billion kilometers, and at a speed of 290,000 kilometers per second, it would take a full month to traverse it. Babata explained the map's details, comparing it to the shattered star system, where such a journey would only take a few days. During the journey, Luo Feng's advanced scanners detected various teams of foreign soldiers, including forces led by immortal beings. The level of combat here was far higher, with corpses scattered about as evidence of the battlefield's brutality. Luo Feng was fascinated, but after a while he handed the scanning task to Babata and returned to the rest area. After half a month of flying across the 9 fragments, Babata urgently summoned Luo Feng to the control room. The ship suddenly stopped in midair, leaving Luo Feng confused because their plan was to head for the main continent. Babata laughed slyly and displayed a screen showing the figure of Noulan Shan, an old enemy who had once threatened Earth and Luo Feng's family with underhanded tactics, sending troops to attack, kidnap, and even kill people on the planet Earth. Luo Feng was shocked, unable to believe that fate had brought them together again after 4,000 years. Babata explained that the scanner had detected Noulan Shan's signal amidst a fierce battle led by human forces and 2 immortal lords. There were also 200 world masters, including Noulan Shan, who was only at level 3, thousands of domain masters, and universe-level beings being overwhelmed by a demon race led by a gigantic immortal creature with 2 heads, one golden-eyed, one silver-eyed, and thousands of demon soldiers as large as 32 kilometers. A distress signal from the humans requesting assistance was detected by Luo Feng's military system. With eyes filled with vengeance, Luo Feng ordered the screen system in front of him to monitor the situation. It was clear that the humans were outnumbered, with many fleeing, but Noulan Shan was cunning, protected by his comrades who called him the 5th brother, and urged him to flee while they held back the enemies. Luo Feng shook his head, realizing that if left unchecked, many lives would be lost, and Noulan Shan could escape again. He quickly prepared himself. Black armor covered his body, his helmet and boots were one piece, the Luo Fuqi board was under his feet, and the beast god armament shield was in his hands. The ship's door burst open with a loud crash, and Luo Feng shot out like a giant bird, his roar echoing through the sky, startling both sides. The fierce battle in the air above the mountains now took a dramatic turn with Luo Feng's arrival, ready to avenge the old grudge while saving his allies. Amidst the fierce battle raging on the ancient mountains of the Yanji continent, the silhouette of a beautiful yet terrifying giant bird soared down from the sky. It was Luo Feng, clad in full black armor and holding a golden shield, standing atop the Luo Fuqi board he had obtained on Devil Mountain. The 2 immortal beings, Boy and Shufan, immediately cheered upon seeing the flying weapon, which resembled a bird with mysterious carvings, capable of drastically increasing the user's speed despite its exorbitant price of 1 to 2 million hunyuan and its extreme rarity. They were certain that there was now hope to turn the tide against the fierce, 2-headed demon, while the demon itself howled warily, ready to flee if the situation worsened. But suddenly, the 2 immortal humans were startled when they detected Luo Feng's energy, which was only at the World Master level, causing them to despair, believing their savior was in vain, while the demon races grew even more enthusiastic and prepared to attack. Luo Feng, who had already identified his enemy as the time-space nightmare beast, one of the 18 royal bloodlines of the demon race, skilled in controlling space and time with golden and silver eyes, only smiled coldly. Well, when compared to a beast with space-manipulating abilities like Luo Feng's golden-horned behemoth, it was clearly far superior to the demon race. Then, Luo Feng immediately activated his golden shield, releasing 1,000 engraved metal shards that formed a giant projection of a beast god with 4 thick legs, a long tail, and towering horns. The tremendous energy pressure from the projection caused thousands of demon and human soldiers to collapse to the ground. Using the first form of the Beast God armament technique, Beast God Descends, Luo Feng summoned a vast grassland projection that compressed the demon's domain of law until it shrank to 100 kilometers, then unleashed the sky-tearing claw, which ripped the demon's head and body apart in an instant, followed by golden leaves from the star-eating plant that wrapped around and obliterated the remaining immortal energy until nothing was left. Luo Feng's power, equivalent to that of an immortal marquise, driven by a spiritual energy amplitude over 3,200 times greater, made this victory easy for him after years of training in the primal Chaos City. Instantly, thousands of demons screamed in panic and fled in all directions, while the human army rose up and slaughtered as many as possible without mercy. Boyi and Xu Fan approached Luo Feng with gratitude, introducing themselves as immortal lords from one of the 5 big organizations, while Luo Feng removed his helmet to reveal the face of a young man with short hair. On the other side, Noulan Shan, who had survived, gathered with his siblings, celebrating their victory and praising Luo Feng's power for easily killing the demons using the star-eating plant. But when Noulan Shan turned and saw Luo Feng's face, his eyes widened in shock and long-burning hatred. Recognizing his sworn enemy after 4,000 years, the one who had forced him to flee to the extraterritorial battlefield, instantly making his heart race at this unexpected twist of fate. In the midst of a massive silver-plated ship speeding away from the battlefield on Fog Island, fragment number 9 of the Yanji continent, Noulan Shan sat in the corner of the central cabin, his mind in disarray like a storm after seeing Luo Feng's unforgettable face. Over 4,000 years ago, he had fled to the extraterritorial battlefield out of fear of Luo Feng, who, despite being only at the star level, at the time, had already displayed the genius madness of the virtual universe company, forcing Noulan Shan to risk his life repeatedly, breaking through from Domain Master Level 1 to World Master Level 3, all to escape that threat. Now, seeing Luo Feng effortlessly kill enemies at the immortal level, his heart shattered. How could that young man, who had only recently joined the genius competition, achieve such power in such a short time? Panicking, Noulan Shan devised a survival plan. Stay within this army under the protection of the 2 immortals, Xu Fan and Boye, as military rules forbade allies from killing each other. If Luo Feng dared, he would be executed as a traitor. With a forced smile, he nodded as his brothers praised Luo Feng's strength, but in his heart, he was certain this army was a safe fortress, unaware that the risk was actually higher if he left alone. Meanwhile, in the ship's control room, Luo Feng introduced himself as Yang, the simple name of his hometown, Yangzhou. Xu Fan and Boy warmly welcomed Luo Feng with refreshing Yehua wine, relaxing his body. The 2 immortal lords laughed joyfully, considering Luo Feng a genius from one of the 5 major organizations, as his ability to kill immortals with ease despite being at the world master level indicated a deep understanding of the laws, equivalent to the potential to become a universe venerable in the future. Luo Feng joined the team not merely because of his human allies, but because his primary goal was to get closer to Noulan Shan, his longtime enemy whom he hated. He saw fear in Noulan Shan's eyes when they made eye contact and smiled coldly in his heart, knowing that his enemy's plan to hide within the ranks would not succeed. "Stay here or go alone. You will still die," Luo Feng murmured silently, confident he could exploit the chaos of the upcoming battle to kill without a trace, perhaps through a clone's body or cunning tactics, without military consequences. As the conversation continued, Luo Feng asked about the area, and Xu Fan explained that large fragments like this were called Fog Islands by veteran soldiers. It was known that Fog Island was teeming with foreign races, mostly Lord-level immortals, with around 12 immortal marquises as the peak forces. Meanwhile, the main continent was far more dangerous due to the presence of an immortal king who dominated the area, making islands like this a safe haven for those who were not yet ready. Luo Feng nodded, his eyes sparkling with plans. The adventure on Fog Island had only just begun, with old grudges ready to be settled amidst the storm of war. Luo Feng sipped Yehua wine in the control room of the silver-plated ship, which glided smoothly through the thick fog of Fog Island, while listening to Xu Fan and Boy explain the true dangers of Yanji continent. They emphasized how terrifying the difference was between an immortal Lord Warrior and an official immortal. It wasn't about strength, but the immortal Marquise's body, which made enemies nearly impossible to kill, as it could regenerate thousands of times even after being destroyed. Xu Fan advised Luo Feng to flee if he encountered an immortal Marquis, as any attempt to kill such a creature would be futile. Hearing this, Luo Feng furrowed his brows, contemplating his plan to face a stronger enemy. Xu Fan and Boye then invited Luo Feng to join their team while also learning to adapt to the battlefield. Hearing this, Luo Feng agreed, not only for the experience but also to get closer to Noulan Shan, who was now hiding within this team. After a day of flying, they arrived at a hidden base in the Misty Mountains, where Luo Feng received complete data about Fog Island, a large island filled with foreign races, the majority of whom were immortal lords, with 12 immortal marquises as rulers, 3 from the demon race, 2 from the machine race, 4 from the insect race, and 3 from the human race, plus allies from other races. 15 days later, their ship set sail once more, searching for their target above Fog Island, with Luo Feng, Xu Fan, and Boy in the control room. The scanners detected a force of scaled creatures from the Qiu Shi clan, over 10,000 ferocious warriors led by 2 immortal-level lords, lacking the advanced scanners they possessed. "Attack!" Xu Fan ordered, and the ship closed in swiftly, opening the cabin doors to release nearly 20,000 human warriors who launched like thousands of beams of light, ready to slaughter. Meanwhile, Noulan Shan, among them, smiled slyly and muttered, "I'll stay with this force, and Luo Feng can't do a thing." Then he darted into the battlefield, savoring the thrill of killing like a fish in water, slaughtering Domain Master Level 9 soldiers with his flaming blade wings, aided by his loyal brothers, while joyfully racking up contribution points. Amidst the chaos of the battle shaking the cosmos, Luo Feng engaged in a fierce fight against one of the immortal Qiu Shi wielding 9 blades. Meanwhile, Luo Feng deliberately refrained from unleashing his star-eating plant to make the battle appear normal. As for Noulan Shan, he was engrossed in hunting weaker enemies, unaware that he was in the path of an attack. Suddenly, a gigantic blade flash tore through thousands of kilometers, piercing the area and shattering his body into pieces, along with the Qiu Shi soldiers around him. In his final breath, he glared furiously at Luo Feng in the distance, screaming in his mind, "Luo Feng, damn you!" while Luo Feng merely smiled coldly, continuing the battle as if by accident. In the end, Luo Feng realized that the long-held grudge had finally been avenged amidst the storm of war, and it was certain that Luo Feng's actions left no trace of military rule violations. Amid the chaos of the fierce battle raging on Fog Island, shrouded in thick fog, the heart-wrenching screams of human soldiers echoed as they witnessed Noulan Shan's body being shattered into pieces by the flash of Kyoshi's gigantic sword. "Fifth brother, Captain!" they cried out in sorrow. For over the years, Noulan Shan had been a loyal comrade in arms on this brutal battlefield. Rage burned in their hearts, blaming the immortal enemy's attack, which Luo Feng was currently facing, for their loss. The human army grew more ferocious, charging at Qiu Shi's scaled warriors with merciless slaughter, while the enemies counterattacked with equal savagery. It was a true war, where lives were lost in an instant, and Noulan Shan's death was just one of many unknown casualties, vanishing without a trace among the piles of corpses. Meanwhile, Luo Feng, who was controlling the giant beast god projection, smiled coldly to himself as everything was going according to plan. He had deliberately directed the immortal Qiu Shi's attack toward Noulan Shan by blocking and redirecting the weapon, making it appear like a battlefield accident. Even the strict military system couldn't blame him, as he had merely defended against the attack. After that, Luo Feng recalled his past. Once, Noulan Shan had been an unstoppable monster who nearly destroyed Luo Feng's life, but after 4,000 years of training, he was now nothing more than an easily crushed ant. This power was what changed everything. The extraterritorial battlefield was where he learned, reflecting on every battle to become an unshakable, absolute warrior. With renewed determination, Luo Feng focused on his primary enemy, an immortal from the Qiu Shi clan skilled in restoring his body. As Luo Feng stood atop the Luo Fu Qi board, he launched relentless attacks, tearing the enemy's body apart repeatedly with the thunderous claws of the beast god, causing the enemy to recover time and again, growing weaker with each recovery due to the loss of his immortal energy. Meanwhile, immortal Qiu Shi howled angrily, trying to stab with his 9 blades of light, but Luo Feng easily blocked them using the beast god armament shield. "You're just a world master, your body won't last long," shouted the enemy. But Luo Feng remained calm, pressing down with his world projection and tearing the enemy's body apart again. Seeing this, Xu Fan and Boy, who had already killed the other immortal, approached and suggested using the star-eating plant to devour the remaining body parts, but Luo Feng refused, wanting to train himself with his own hands. In the end, the enemy grew desperate, attempting to close in for self-destruction. But Luo Feng maintained his distance, tearing it apart repeatedly until it exploded in a massive blast that shattered the space for thousands of kilometers. From this, Luo Feng learned that killing an immortal-level enemy was indeed troublesome without extra assistance. Seeing this, Xu Fan and Boyi approached with admiring smiles, praising Luo Feng's ability to kill alone, something that even they had to do together by separating and destroying the enemy's body fragments gradually until its immortal energy was depleted, then avoiding the enemy's self-detonation. Shortly thereafter, after Luo Feng had finished dealing with Noulan Shan, he asked for permission to leave and go solo farming. Upon hearing this, the two immortal lords were startled, but they understood Luo Feng's reasons and hoped they could live on and meet again. Luo Feng smiled and nodded his head. With that, he flew away like a beam of light, soaring into the distance, leaving Xu Fan and Boy behind, ready to explore greater dangers in the extraterritorial battlefield. In the darkness of the Fog Island sky, shrouded in thick fog, Luo Feng sat pensively on his Yunmo ship. After forcing the immortal Chu Shi to destroy himself in a massive explosion, victory did not make him arrogant. Instead, he realized how weak he was. Luo Feng knew he relied on the beast god armament shield, and he struggled to kill a single immortal lord without the help of the star-eating plant. "I must train harder," he muttered, his eyes sparkling with determination. Starting from Fog Island, Luo Feng was determined to become the strongest here before advancing to the main continent. So what happens next? Alright, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.